What did you say when Biden called you and said he wasn't running? Well, I immediately thought of him first. No, you didn't. You know, I mean, fracking. Dana Bash had her dead to rights. Like, you said this. I have the quote. I'm reading it to you. You said there should be a ban on fracking. Why can't they just go, yeah, you know what? I got it wrong. I was talking to the wrong people. You know, she's had this ridiculously high turnover.
Bill Maher didn't hold back, absolutely tearing into CNN for bending over backward to prop up Kamala Harris, while relentlessly hammering Donald Trump. And believe me, the left won't be thrilled to hear this. The outspoken host tore into the network for its extreme bias, obsessively twisting every story to shield Democrats, calling it a major factor in Harris's spectacular collapse. Maher's critique isn't just sharp, it's one of the hardest hits he's delivered to CNN in years. Brace yourself, because this one stings. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's dive in.
CNN is the place where both sides can watch.
Talking about the people on CNN. And what I know what the conservative side of America thinks, and I don't blame it, just gushing about how great a speech it was. And I think she did fine. I didn't think it was as good as they were making it out.
If you remember, CNN practically fawned over Kamala every time she managed to string together a halfway coherent sentence. A bland "we must do better" was suddenly framed as a groundbreaking manifesto, dissected from every angle as if she'd just solved world peace. Out came the analysts, the professors, the endless parade of pundits, all working overtime to sell her as the second coming of political genius, the leader with an answer for everything. Spoiler alert, she wasn't, and this is where Maher does what few are willing to do. He calls it out. He labels the coverage for exactly what it was: shameless fangirling, desperate, misleading, and downright embarrassing. CNN wasn't reporting the news, they were running PR. And Maher, with that familiar razor-sharp edge, sliced straight through the glossy illusion they were trying to sell.
It does look like tokenism. It's kind of like the same as The View.
I don't think that you can say that CNN is anything but. Everyone who was speaking last night, it's not like they were all Democrats. I mean, we had Dana Bash, Jake Tapper, Abby Phillips
come across
giving analysis.
They come across that way. In a moment like that, it was like 5-1. It always looks like 5-1.
Caitlin Collins, slipping into her calm, nothing-to-see-here voice, tried to defend CNN by noting that the network covers Republican conventions and occasionally invites GOP guests onto its shows. Nice attempt, but Maher wasn't buying it. He never claimed conservatives are absent. His point is that they're never on equal footing. It's always a stacked panel, 5 pundits to 1, with the lone Republicans sitting there like target practice. Then Maher really lowered the boom, comparing CNN's format to The View. Ouch. For a network that prides itself on being a serious news outlet, its panels often look less like journalism and more like a daytime talk show pylon, where one outnumbered conservative gets mocked and steamrolled by a liberal swarm.
Conservatives do not trust CNN because it is so staunchly anti-Trump. He's not wrong, because they'll put on people like Adam Kinzinger or Anna Navarro, George Conway, and call them Republicans, or pretend that's being balanced by putting them on by saying, oh, see, these conservatives don't even... Only Scott Jennings over there can be called a conservative. And Maher is right. It's almost always 5-1 on shows they portray as news programs.
A lot of people don't trust CNN, and it's not hard to see why. Their version of balance usually amounts to tokenism, bringing on Republicans who can't make a serious case or barely qualify as conservatives to begin with. These so-called GOP voices aren't there to challenge the narrative. They're props, set up for the liberal panel to swat down so everyone else can feel clever. That kind of stage debate drives Bill Maher nuts, and it turns off plenty of viewers as well. People aren't stupid. They can tell when a conversation is being engineered, and that's exactly why conservatives, and a growing number of independents, tune out and watch something else. CNN isn't offering real debate. It's putting on a performance.
You have the time. Your answer is not, I do. Do you have the time? Right. Yes, it's 4 o'clock. Well, you have to understand that words don't always mean what they mean.
And when Tim Walz said, like, the American people, I talk like they do. No, you don't.
No.
No, you don't. You're a huge liar, like all politicians are. I don't care, by the way. I've always said this about politics. They're all going to lie. They're politics. It's what they lie about. I don't get what you did during the Iraq War. You were in the Guard. So I don't understand why they just can't. You're just insulting my intelligence.
Here, Bill Maher didn't hold back for a second. He went straight after both Kamala Harris and Tim Walz for the blatant falsehoods they slipped into those soft, kid glove interviews. Walz flashing that well-rehearsed politician smile has repeatedly been caught stretching the truth, or outright inventing it, about his role in various political and even military situations, all in a desperate attempt to market himself as some battle-tested statesman. Kamala Harris has her own highlight reel of exaggerations. She confidently claimed she'd been to the border when she hadn't come close. Then her team tried to spin a separate story, suggesting she skipped Joe Rogan's podcast because Rogan supposedly wouldn't have her. Maher wasn't buying any of it. He cut straight through the PR fog and called out the dishonesty for what it was. To him, this isn't just politics as usual. It's manufactured credibility, propped up by a media ecosystem that refuses to seriously challenge the narrative.
You know, I mean, fracking. Dana Bash had her dead to rights. It's like, you said this. I have the quote. I'm reading it to you. You said there should be a ban on fracking. Why can't they just go, yeah, you know what? I got it wrong. I was talking to the wrong people. You know, she's had this ridiculously high turnover. Like 42 of 47 people as vice president are gone. Just blame it on them. You know why these are gone? Gave me the wrong information on fracking.
That's classic Kamala Harris. Dodge the question, shift the blame, and hope no one's paying close attention. It's practically her signature move. Just look at fracking. She flat out reversed her earlier position, casually rewriting her own record the moment it became politically inconvenient. Then came the infamous word salad moment, a masterclass in saying everything and nothing at the same time. Asked what she could do better than Joe Biden, she offered no clear plan, and not even a coherent answer. Instead, she launched into a baffling ramble, a jumble of disconnected phrases delivered as if they carried meaning when they didn't. Bill Maher couldn't resist pointing it out, because it captured Kamala Harris perfectly. Talk a lot, communicate almost nothing, and let the media dress it up as brilliance. It's becoming a serious problem for her, as more people are seeing straight through the performance.
What the bug up there is about IVF. I mean, I certainly understand abortion. You know, there's a baby growing in the womb. I get it. It's going to be a human. Doesn't bother me, but yes, it is. Again, doesn't bother me that it is.
You're not supposed to mess with that. That's what many people think. You're supposed to let.
Oh, I see.
Great man upstairs.
Oh,
yeah, it goes back to that stem cell debate that George Bush had.
Yes.
Remember? It goes like the Terry Shive. It's just like life, laugh. We support laugh.
Bill Maher is completely wrong on this issue, and it's not even a close debate. He openly defends the termination of unborn life, children who suffer not because of anything they've done, but because of decisions made by others. That moral contradiction is precisely why Maher can never truly cross into conservative territory. The moment he tried, the inconsistency would be impossible to ignore on one hand. He's quick to condemn the Catholic Church for its failures in protecting children, and much of that criticism is deserved. But on the other, he casually dismisses the destruction of unborn lives, treating them as if they simply don't count. That isn't principled skepticism. It's selective morality. Maher likes to position himself as a fearless truth-teller, someone willing to challenge sacred cows on all sides. Yet here, he sidesteps one of the most fundamental moral questions entirely. You can't claim to stand for justice while excusing the suffering of the innocent, especially when they're paying the price for choices they never made. That's not courage. It's a blind spot, and it undercuts the very credibility Maher works so hard to project.
What explains Donald Trump's appeal to young men? I saw today that the gender gap, I think, is the widest. I mean, it's very predictable. I mean, the women are much more for Kamala, and the men are much more for Trump, generally.
But it's not predictable if you look at past elections where voters under 30, generally men and women, went for Democrats. This is remarkable. I think to explain it...
Wait, you're talking about under 30?
Yeah, the under 30
What's going
gender
on
gap.
What's
It's very different than past elections.
So
in 20...
Bigger?
Much bigger.
Kamala Harris is steadily losing support among young men, the very group that played a key role in carrying Democrats in 2020. And the reason isn't hard to figure out. For years, the Democratic Party has embraced messaging that many young men feel talks down to them, sidelines them, or treats them as an afterthought. Instead of addressing the growing frustration, Harris leaned even further into the same worn-out playbook. When the moment came to select a vice president, she had a clear opportunity to reset the narrative. Choosing a younger male running mate could have signaled openness, energy, and a willingness to reconnect with disengaged young voters. Instead, she opted for a familiar, low-risk choice, safe, predictable, and uninspiring. It did nothing to rebuild trust with young men who already feel ignored. Donald Trump, meanwhile, took the opposite approach. By selecting a younger running mate, he sent a deliberate message. He values ambition, drive, and the potential of younger men. That contrast couldn't be more stark, and it explains a lot about what's happening right now. Harris isn't just losing momentum. She's losing credibility with a demographic Democrats can't afford to alienate. As young men drift away, the cost isn't theoretical. It shows up in trust, enthusiasm, and ultimately at the ballot box.
2020, young men and young women voted for Joe Biden at roughly the same rate. Over the last 4 years, and now with Kamala Harris, young women are voting for Kamala Harris at that same level, if not more. Kamala Harris has barely moved the needle with young men. They have gone more toward Trump. There's a lot of reasons for that. I think Trump has exploited culture war stuff. He appears on hyper masculine podcasts, and he just seems like a fun bro. He's not going to ban your zins,
These people still don't understand what's happening. They scoff at podcasts that promote healthy masculinity, reacting as if strong men pose some kind of cultural threat. But that reaction completely misses the point. Strong men create strong families, stable communities, and resilient nations. Weakness, on the other hand, breeds chaos, dependence, and decline. And that's the direction the left continues to push. America has already weighed in on this question. In both 2016 and 2020, millions of voters rallied behind Donald Trump, a figure who unapologetically projected strength, defiance, and resistance to the ongoing feminization of institutions and public life. That support wasn't just about policy or party. It was a cultural backlash. Voters were exhausted by being lectured that masculinity itself is a problem. They wanted leadership defined by confidence, decisiveness, and unapologetic toughness. And whether cultural elites like it or not, that demand for strength hasn't disappeared. If anything, it's only growing. And it isn't going away anytime soon. That's it for today's breakdown. If you found this analysis valuable, hit the like button and subscribe for more commentary right